That's giving allium leaf miner. Look at that, because we're done here. What they say, boneless, get around is crazy. I didn't feel like it, so I didn't do it. Hello, welcome to Yellow Door Urban Homestead. I am Asia, and I'm an urban gardener growing in a small space out in my backyard. Today, we are going on a garden tour, y'all. I was outside and I was just kind of looking around. I was counting out all my seedlings because in about 2 weeks, I will be planting everything out. I am in Virginia, Zone 7B. I grow in my urban backyard, so I grow in ground. Only a few spaces left like that. No dig, only a few spaces left like that. Raised beds, in bags, in pots, and in green stalks. Oh, and in greenhouses. That's how I grow. I grow in all different ways. I'm pretty excited. I did some planting and not on camera, right? So I'm gonna show you all that. But I was out here, I was counting my seedlings, trying to make sure I have what I need to plant out, and it feels like I do. I am also gonna have some things left over, but it won't be nearly as much as I normally have left over. So I'm excited about that. I really tried this year to start my seeds based on what I was going to need. I didn't want a lot of seeds that I was gonna have to try to offload on other people or, just try to find somewhere to put them in my garden, because I do not like to throw seedlings away. So I feel like we are at a good point this year, and I'm very happy about that. Anyway, let's look around the garden, y'all. I'm super excited. We are gonna start with the green stalks. That's where most of the change has happened. I have decided that I am gonna plant the main garden out in May, but anything that I can move. So reality is, if we were to get a frost, although I think we're past our last frost, if we were to get a frost, I could take my green stalks, the two that I planted out that have warm weather crops in them, I could take them in the house, right? So that's an option. I did plant out the Bootstrap Farmer greenhouse. I can protect it. It's already protected. I also planted out the Quick Tent greenhouse, except for the one bed that we are waiting to cool down because we put meal grinds in it. And someone asked the question of how long do you normally have to wait before you can plant? 2 weeks, at least 2 weeks after you put the meal grinds in. I have planted before, but I wouldn't recommend it. I'm not telling anybody to do it. I did it. The plants were fine, but I'm absolutely not telling anyone else to do it, and I'm not doing it either in case I just got lucky. Anyway, I'm very hopeful for this season. I was telling my daughter, I was like, I'm so excited for this garden season. Like the garden, while some spots still look bare, in general though, the garden is looking good, and I'm just very excited about how my seedlings look. The fact that the aphids are no longer on my peppers, who knows, they could come back. I'm hoping they don't, but they've moved on. My peppers look so much better than they did last year. Let me just show y'all instead of continuing to talk. Let's just start over here first, and then we'll make our way back. This is our lemon green stalk, which has strawberries in it. If you remember in our last tour, I was saying they were light green. They are still light green. However, we do have a lot of spots where you can tell we're gonna have strawberries coming from them. I don't know if it's the variety. I think this is the one that we purchased from the person at the farmer's market. So I don't know, but I don't think they're supposed to look this light. Anyway, I'm still working on those. Our celery is still looking really good, and we're actually getting some like thickness to the stalk, which I'm very excited to see. There's celery down here. If you remember, we put potatoes in this green stalk, and someone asked, was I gonna take the green stalk down to harvest the potatoes? I am. That's what I had to do last year when I planted, I want to say the yellow one over there. I just had to take each tier down to harvest, and that is the plan with this as well. The lemon green stalk is looking really good. I am waiting to see if we have potatoes pop up, because I did actually find my local feed and seeds chart, and it actually said April the 1st. I thought it was the 15th, but we already planted them now. We will see what happens. So this is one of our herb green stalk. The chives are looking really good. I don't want to harvest them until the flowers open up. They are looking a bit, scraggly because they're falling over. But once all of the flowers open, because you can see, look how pretty. This is where we would get seeds from, but I'm gonna harvest these and use them in a vinegar. Y'all said it would be good, so that's what I'm going to do. Until those flowers open up and I can harvest them, I'm not going to harvest the herbs. We have some thyme down here. This is our second row in this green stalk. I purchased this from the store. The thyme down here, I started myself. I believe in the hydroponics, or it could have been a part of the ones that I started just in normal soil. I can't remember. Anyway, we have our chamomile here. We have some sage here. We have oregano here. Parsley down here. This green stalk, it's not looking like we need to harvest this green stalk as much as we need to harvest this one. This is also a herb green stalk, and we have a lot of parsley in it that could definitely be harvested, and I will harvest it soon. We have a yarrow that's about to flower. This will be the first time, so I can't wait to see that yarrow flower. This cilantro absolutely needs to be harvested, especially since cilantro bolts really quickly when it starts to get warm. So I definitely need to come and harvest that. We have some more yarrow that's about to flower. Like I said, the really pretty flowers of the chives. But yeah, there's also sage in this one right here. This is from last year, so that grew back real nicely. Parsley from last year. This herb green stalk was already here last year. This is new this year. I wanted 2 herb green stalks because I want to preserve enough herbs for a whole year. Right beside the yellow green stalk, we have a snow green stalk. This is actually lemon is the name of it. This is a snow green stalk, which is a white color, and we have it full of strawberries. And I think that it is so pretty. I think like having that red just hang down over that is so pretty. These are June bearing strawberries that I picked up from a local store here. They sell a flat of them for $15. I decided this year that this is where I wanted to grow my strawberries in green stalks, and so far it's been doing really well. I can't wait to see what we get when we have our huge flush. I have been harvesting strawberries, like that's a small one, but I've been harvesting strawberries off of this for probably 2 or 3 weeks now. Now, a new addition to this week's garden tour that we wouldn't have seen in any garden tours before is that the green stalk, and this is called evergreen, has been planted out, and I'm super excited about that. This green stalk has orange tomatoes, orange het tomatoes. They're a miniature variety that goes down and around. We also then have basil beside that goes down and around. And then we have marigolds. These are petite marigolds, so they should be small marigold that goes down and around. You have some more tomatoes that goes down and around. So essentially, we only have 2 tomatoes per tier. That's the way I decided to do it. I grew tomatoes in the green stalk last year. They did really well. I just feel like they were like really big and kind of all over the place. So I'm trying to limit how many I have in one tier and in one green stalk, honestly. And then to round this out, we have nasturtiums that go all the way down and around. And then you don't see anything, but in these pockets going up and down are beans. I planted dragon tongue beans in them. I really liked dragon tongue beans last year. I think that beans grew really, really well in these green stalks. And I think later on in the year, I have to check my book, but later on in the year, I think the other lemon will be a full bean green stalk, but I'm also still just throwing them in anywhere I can put them in. All right, so we have the pink blossom, and we are gonna start eating this lettuce this week because it is pretty much ready to go. And I'm more than likely just gonna harvest the whole head of lettuce because we're getting warm here already. But this will be a good amount of lettuce for us to eat. What did I put in here? I went ahead and put my zucchini in here, right? What I decided was I can still do an early planting of zucchini in the green stalk, just like I have them over in the quick tent greenhouse. So you have 4 Emerald Delight zucchinis in here, and then everything else that you see that looks empty is some more dragon tongue beans. And so that's what I did here. The lettuce will be gone eventually, and I have not decided what's going back up here. I would like to put more lettuce, but I don't know if we're gonna get too warm too soon. And I also started lettuce, and then I stopped taking care of the lettuce in the house because all the rest of the seedlings are outside. So that lettuce is still in there, but it's not doing well. I need to either start taking care of it again or make the decision that I'm going to buy more lettuce to replant this. And I don't think that I'm gonna do that. I would rather grow it myself in the house. So now we have our blackberry here. This is our leek and potato soup green stalk, which is just ingredients for leek and potato soup. At the bottom, you have celery, and that is looking really good. So celery is all the way around the bottom. And then the next 2 tiers are potatoes, and then the next 2 tiers up are leeks. So when we harvest this, we will have all the ingredients that I can grow in the garden for leek and potato soup. And I think it's really pretty. pretty. And right here we have the strawberry green stalk. I have not gotten around to filling up these cups. It has been on my list, for one, because we have a lot of runners over here. I even added a cup over here, still didn't get it done. But anyway, we have a strawberry green stalk right here that is also growing strawberries. So like you can see, we got a bunch of strawberries. And like I said, I've been harvesting off of this one too. All right, so right here, I want to say this is onions and shallots. And there may be some garlic mixed in because last year this was planted for garlic, I think. So that green stalk is looking good. I'm hoping for it to start looking better, if I'm honest, because I feel like the leaves need to be a little bit bigger. But I will say some of them are starting to get thicker. So, and you can see I did dig around it just to give the bulb some space if it wanted to bulb. I don't know if that was necessary. And I am fertilizing this with fish emulsion, hoping to get more of the green leaves and bigger green leaves. It's still looking decent. Push come to shove, we'll just make some powder out of the leaves. I am not great at growing onions. If you're not new here, you already know that. We have our gray green stalk. It still has collards in it and the collards are still growing. We'll be harvesting those soon because we also have pest pressure going on here. I am assuming it is the white cabbage moth because I have been seeing them all over the place. There's also some garlic mixed in. I don't know how well it will do. I cannot remember what this will be next, but once it is time to pull the garlic, this will be something else. I am succession sowing my green stalks this year, just like I want to successfully succession sow my garden, just because I want to use them just as well as I use my actual garden, okay? I can't remember what it is. It's in a book somewhere. And yep, I was right. Look at that. Y'all see it? The cabbage moth caterpillars. You see it? And there's another one right there. So it's getting warm and they are coming out. I just remove them, hand pick them. I don't really do much else. Also, the Swiss chard is looking really nice in here. I'm gonna leave this. Swiss chard can go through the summer too. And it normally doesn't have a lot of pests. I'm gonna leave it for as long as it will live. We have our yellow green stalk over here. It is lemon. I always call it the color and not the actual name. Look at this pretty Swiss chard up here. I mean, it's a beautiful color. There's a lot of garlic in here. It was here from the fall. It did not rot, so I left it. And then I just threw some more cold hardy things on in here, hopes of being able to get a harvest before the season ended for me. So I might be able to do that here. I'm not seeing a lot of pest pressure on this one, but at the same time, you do see a bunch of gnats. I don't know where they're coming from, but they don't seem to be messing anything up, so I'm not really worried about that. The next one we have is our blackberry, another blackberry. This is the basket weave blackberry, and I love purple. It is my favorite color, which is why I have two. Anyway, this is an onion green stalk as well, and like this onion looks absolutely terrible. This one too. So I will tell you, the last time I started seeing things like this, it was allium leaf miner, but they don't all look like that, and so that's the part that makes me happy. Some of them are even growing some of the brown that grows on it. I'm just waiting to see what happens. I also think I need to water this. But anyway, we have a few that look like allium leaf miner, others don't. And again, I'm still wanting the leaves to be a little bit bigger. And so there was a blueberry green stalk here. I put that into the Bootstrap Farmer greenhouse. I wanted one in there and I thought the blue would be pretty. I feel like the blue doesn't really match the rest of my colors, but I have planted out the Bootstrap Farmer greenhouse, y'all. But we are also still in like a fall and summer type situation because we still have cabbage and we still have Swiss chard. Let me show you. So we still have the cabbages here, and I'm leaving them because like these are pretty tight cabbage heads. They just need to get bigger. Not that one, but they need to get bigger. However, we put candy cane peppers across the back of this one. Also, if y'all see the straw and stuff, the birds are coming in here like crazy. So with that being said, I need to hurry up and get my netting up on here. Hopefully that's something we can get done this week because the birds are coming in here. They're pulling the straw back. They're digging down in, like you see right here. That's birds. Anyway, we have candy cane peppers in the back with basil in between. I want a lot of peppers and I want a lot of basil this year. So you're going to see basil in a lot of places. In the front, we have shishito peppers. These are the three that I planted early, and I was just like, let me me get them out of the pots. In between the onions, I feel like the onions are looking better. They're sitting up, they're looking better. But I decided I didn't want to not use this season extender to the best of my ability while I was waiting on those onions. Because the truth is, those onions might not bounce back. They have been under broccoli leaves for a long time. They might not bounce back. So if they do, cool. If they don't, I already have my peppers and my basil in. So that is what I decided, but I did not pull them out. And the Swiss chard is still here, something that we need to harvest for sure. Then we have the onions here. I went through, I don't know how, but these onions got, well, I guess I do know how, I guess. I added, I want to say, Burger BM6 to this bed. But it didn't dawn on me that the onions would then end up being planted deeper than they should be. So I went down and around and I moved the soil in hopes that maybe it'll feel like they're not planted as deep as they are and they'll start to bulb. I really don't know. But the ones right here, definitely planted deeper than they should be from when I added Burger BM6. All right, so, the other thing is I could not wrap my head around how the lower and lean would work across the top of this. For this year, in order to just go ahead and get things in, I decided we'll just grow up stakes. These are the only indeterminate tomatoes that we will have. The tomatoes out in the main garden are gonna be determinate or semi-indeterminate. These are our only ones that's gonna just grow and grow and grow. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, I decided to just stake them. Right here, we have two super sweet 100s with the basil in between. We have the Rosella right here with the basil in between. We have the Great White with the basil in between. We have a Brad's Atomic Grape right here. And there we have our Cherokee Purple. We have extras of all of these just in case. We're only planting 2 each right now. So with that being the case, if one of those die, I wanted to have extra. So that is a part of our extras. This is what we will be eating fresh, or I will be donating, giving away. I am planning to grow all of my salsa and sauce tomatoes in the main garden. This is my fresh eaten tomatoes. And then we still have the garlic in here, y'all. We just gonna leave it, see what it does. It definitely does not look as good as the ones we planted outside, but just because it doesn't look as good does not mean it's not gonna produce some food for us. And then over here, this is where we put the blueberry green stalk. I think it's beautiful. Has strawberries in it, and we have strawberries growing. Also very light green. Down here, it's pretty much potatoes. We got this one onion right here that's giving allium leaf minor. Look at that. Oh my goodness. We'll see. Anyway, I might pull that soon. But other than that, there's potatoes in there that we planted not too long ago. Oh, and a few pansies. They've been in here since last year. They won't last too much longer, and they look even worse in this greenhouse. So in case you were wondering where the seedlings went, they are now outside. Someone asked me about hardening off. I do not harden off the traditional way where you take them out, put them in, take them out, put them in. I put them out. If they live, they live. If they don't, they don't. I don't plant them out, but I definitely put them outside, and they live if they want to. If they don't, they will die. However, we haven't had any of those problems. All of these plants have been outside, I want to say for 2 days, maybe 3 days, and they are looking just fine. These are our pepper plants. They look really good. There are no signs of aphids. No signs of aphids. I am in love, y'all. We have a few nasturtiums left. These all go out into the main garden. Oh, also, we do have the Patterson Golden and the yellow squash. I'm pretty sure these are both scallop. This one did not come up, so that's fine. These will go into the quick tent greenhouse, the bed that we're waiting on. Back here, you have the lupin looking amazing. Got to decide where they're gonna go. We have oregano still in here that I need to find a spot for. This is an ancho poblano that just did not do well. Jimmy Nardello that did not do well, but I'm keeping it just because we still got time. And then we have a basil back here. We have our zinnias. Can't wait to get those out. And then we have some tomatoes, some marigolds. Everything that's left on the table now goes into the main garden. I think I said that. So these are some more of our tomatoes. Most of them are determinate varieties. And then we do still have some of the miniature varieties left. I don't know how we ended up with so many of the miniature varieties, but it's okay. Down here we have some more basil. I saved all of the purple to go into the main garden just because I know the purple is like the sun. You need the sun or whatever for that. And y'all, what I think I'm gonna do with these dahlias is I think I'm going to clear out these citrus trees because we're done here. And I'm gonna set them up over here in these bags. By the way, somebody asked me the other day, like, how was this planter doing? It's doing great. This is lavender and it's coming back. I probably should have came through and cut some of this off. I still can, to let the middle growth kind of grow out. And y'all, the cosmos definitely came back in here, and that's fine, because once these pansies die out, then we'll have lavender and cosmos in here. That lavender looks really good. The new growth, I just need to decide what I'm gonna do with the old growth, if I'm gonna do anything with the old growth. But yeah, our citrus didn't make it. I cannot be bothered with 6 plants that I gotta make sure lives through the winter. I cannot be bothered. In a greenhouse. They were in a greenhouse, y'all. No. So citrus will be purchased from the store. It's a no for me. All right, so if you remember, we planted this together. These are our Emerald Delight zucchini and some nasturtiums. I also went ahead and put the roselle, sorrel, whichever one you call it, into the bed. And so what I'm hoping is that the roselle just starts to kind of get some of its growth, but it doesn't impede on the growth of the zucchinis for the time that they are in this bed. But we will see what happens. We also have our squash back here. This is the Costata Romanesca. I realized the other day that I wasn't saying that right. I still like Costa Romanesca. It's easier to say, but it's Costata Romanesca. That's down here, and some nasturtiums. This bed is still rather warm. I hope y'all can see. And so with that being said, I'm not planting that yet. I will wait until it drops to maybe 60. We have also planted this bed out. I was able to get it moistened. I also added a little bit of Happy Frog to the top of this because I had a little bit left in a bag. And we have patio tomatoes. We have 2 right here. We have 2 of our marigolds, the miniature marigolds, or petite is what they were called. And then we have basil in here. And that's pretty much the way that we have this whole bed planted out. And I'm excited to see if these tomatoes go as long as they did last year. If you remember, the tomatoes in here went well into the fall, and I didn't replant them. I only planted them one time, and they went well into the fall. So I'm very excited to see how this greenhouse does this year as well. Y'all, I don't know what to say or what to do about what I have allowed to happen over here. So the fig is back and trying to grow. Like, it didn't die all the way back to the ground. The rose has fallen over because the trash can fell on it. The rose is still big and out of control, but also now already blooming. The peach tree is in the air and huge. This one too. And y'all, this apple tree, good gracious alive. So if you remember, I had a whole plan that I did not get around to because it just stayed too cold here too long. I was watching Broke today, him and Calvin on their live. I asked the question about what's a good size pot. I can't do this. I thought I wanted it this way. It's not bad. It's just I can't move around in it. And I just don't want to do that anymore. So now I'm flirting with the idea of putting the peach trees in a pot and moving the apple trees around. I'm really not sure, because even if I move these trees like I said I was gonna do, I feel like I'm just gonna end up back in the same situation. I love having fruit in the backyard, right? However, I can't get to the fruit, not easily. I mean, like crawling on the ground. I'm not gonna be doing that. The pollen is rough out here today. I'm not gonna be doing that. So I gotta figure this out, y'all. And before I start digging stuff up and moving stuff, I need to know that that's gonna be the last time I gotta do it. So we'll see. But I'm just telling y'all, I don't know what's gonna happen with the orchard. Oh, y'all, I had to go get some water. That pollen was in my throat. I could feel it just sitting in my throat. Anyway, that's the orchard update. And I feel like I'm just gonna have to really redo the orchard. The only thing I'm not trying to move is the grapevine, because I actually really love the grapevine in the way that it looks. So if you're not new here, all of this is grapevine. It was never supposed to have this trellis, but it looks so pretty on this trellis. And once the grapes start to grow, which by the way, you can already see some clusters on here. So like you see right there, can you see it? I hope y'all can see it right there. You can already see them starting to grow. I really love that. Once they fill the trellis in, it looks amazing to walk under. That's the only thing I don't want to move. And this is more of it right here. It's a muscadine grape. I don't do anything to it, which is how it ended up like this, which also is probably a part of why I feel like I do about the orchard, because the grapevine takes over. Everything is growing so well to be, not to be in the ground. I just didn't expect everything to grow so well in the ground. All of this stuff is in the ground. The trees are in the ground. The grapevine is in the ground. The roses are in the ground, and everything is thriving. That fig is also in the ground. And so we got to figure this out. But until we do get to look at these beautiful roses. They're knockout sprout roses. They're small rose, but y'all, I mean, like, even those are everywhere. Like, yeah, I don't know what to do. Then you got some hyssop down here. You got some lemon balm down there. There's mint in there. You know what I want to do? I want a green stalk that has those things in it. Mint, lemon balm, the things that spread. I want that to happen too. I got to figure that out. But I already had a plan for the green stalks that I do have. So we're going to see, because I want to get rid of those pots anyway. And so down here you have the calendula. I harvested this today. I wasn't harvesting when I was only getting 1 or 2 flowers, but once I'm able to get like full flushes of flowers, that's when I start to harvest. And this morning I was able to get, I want to say 4. Tomorrow morning I'll get more, and that is how I will keep these plants growing until the heat comes and kills them. But this bed looks amazing. The chamomile back here is looking awesome. I am pretty sure, yeah, we'll be getting flowers soon. So I'm very excited to see this. This was a very good idea. I think it looks beautiful. I think it's gonna grow well under the grapevine for a while. And then we got a hollyhock here and this walking onion. It hasn't started walking yet. And in all truthfulness, I probably don't want it to start walking now because I have all of this stuff in the bed. I do believe that the birds have been over here in my saffron, but I think it's fine. But look at these snapdragons getting bigger, y'all. I'm excited. Hopefully they grow well. And as I understand it, saffron is a very expensive herb, and the only thing that you harvest are the little red flowers. So that's what I'm gonna let that bed be, a saffron bed. I think you put it in rice and different stuff. I will find how you use it once I start to get it. So right here, this is our garlic that we planted out in September. Just looking nice and thick, and I just cannot be more excited, y'all. I cannot be more excited. Best garlic I've ever grown. These first 3 rows. And then you have this over here, which is also getting thicker. Maybe next year we'll give like garlic a actual bed. They're doing really well out here and planted early. And this was actually our latest planting. And they both look better than what's going on in the greenhouse. This was my whole point. I want to learn what works well for me, because I was following the rules and following what I was seeing, and I was like, I'm not having any success. So I'm just gonna do what I want to do, and then I will figure it out from there. And I think that I'm figuring out, now we still got to harvest, but from the looks of this, I'm figuring out that September is when I should be planting in my backyard. So all of the potatoes that got burnt by the frost, they are back, they're coming up. I think we're good here, but pretty much every bag has potatoes in it except for one. Have no idea what happened to the one that no potatoes are coming up in, and that is right here. So we only have 29 bags of potatoes, which is fine. The ranunculus is still looking good. I haven't gotten any flowers yet, so that's ranunculus right there. And these are also ranunculus, and borage volunteered, so I'm gonna leave that borage because this ranunculus is gonna come out. This is neither. This is raspberry or blackberry that I need to cut. I don't know where it is on my property. It could be in between the fences. I really don't know where it is. It was here before I moved here. Wherever it is, it was before I moved here. I never planted it, but it comes up over here and I just cut it out. And then we also put some more zucchini in over here just to see how it would do. This bed, I can't remember what's gonna be on this trellis, but right now it's gonna be zucchini in here. Y'all, the St. John's wort looks amazing. That elderberry looks amazing. If you remember, we moved this late winter, we moved this, so that's looking good. This is the one that we propagated from this one. And when I say propagated, I stuck it down into the soil and it rooted. And now we have another elderberry tree. This is dill. I'll probably have to come through and start to harvest this and preserve it because dill likes cooler weather. Once it gets warm, it is going to send up seeds, which you can still use dill seeds. So that's not a big deal. These carrots, this is dill right here. And y'all, my lack of fertilization, I don't think these blueberries gonna do well this year. If you remember, I kept saying I needed to fertilize my blueberries, and I kept saying it's cold. I should have just came out here with a coat on. Y'all, look at my blueberry bushes. Oh, they look so terrible. What they say, boneless? Oh, they look boneless. I mean, they do not look good at all. And this tree is struggling so bad. Like, they don't look good at all. But we're gonna see what we get out of them. We're gonna see, because I mean, it just looks really bad. This one has a lot of berries on it, but they're very small. So you should definitely fertilize your blueberries. I think that is the first year I did not, and now I see why I definitely should. I'm pretty sure in previous years it looked way better than that. So we'll see. So our asparagus is coming up, but it's coming up slow, and a lot of it is coming up skinny. But we have some down here, if you can see them. I don't know if we're gonna get too much of an asparagus harvest this year. I don't know what's going on here. I'm pretty sure we was getting asparagus harvest by now. But anyway, we're just gonna leave it. We're gonna see what happens. But if they all grow very skinny, I'm just gonna let them grow skinny, and then we'll worry about harvesting next year, because everything's coming up pretty darn skinny this year. And I have always cut my ferns early. I guess maybe that didn't work out for me last year. Something was on my leg, y'all. I got on short. I'm guessing that didn't work out for me last year because everything's coming up skinny. If you saw me do that, just know that I honestly think that's why it's happening this year. I didn't have a problem with it in years past. The lilac green stalk is planted out now. This is peppers, basil, nasturtiums. I left the carrots. The spinach that was in here was Balton. Oh, I also went ahead and put the eggplant in here that I had. We'll see what happens with that, because that eggplant looked pretty bad. This was another one, but you never know. You never know. That one is also planted out and ready to grow. We have a bunch of nets that was on here. I'm pretty sure the eggs were laid in this soil and they're coming out of the soil. So hopefully they move on really soon, because don't nobody got time for that. These are the first set of leeks we planted out, and you can see they are getting thicker, which is what you want to see. It'll be a while before we harvest these leeks, but they're getting thicker there. And then we have more leeks right here. They are also getting a little bit thicker now. I will tell you, we having bird issues, and I honestly think they pulling some of these out, which is okay. We planted a lot. Hopefully they'll start to get bigger and stronger, and then the birds won't want to mess with them, but I'm pretty sure the birds are pulling those out. Oh, and we also got another garden bed in. I did not cut this long enough, so it keeps coming off, but we got another one of our birdies beds in from Botanical Interest, and I had to make it a 5x2 because if you remember, I was able to cut the cattle panel because of where the stakes were, where the T-posts were. I couldn't do that this time, so instead I just configured it to be a 5x2. Now, what I will tell you is I don't think we're planting corn this year. I just don't, at this point, I really don't think we're gonna have enough space for corn in this bed. Probably not gonna plant corn this year. I'll figure something out next year. We'll just switch this to something else. Don't know what just yet. Also realized I'm gonna have to plant my purple potted pole beans because I doubt I'm gonna get any volunteers at this point because I've covered up the soil. So listen, we just gonna amend these bags when it's time to plant our peppers. I still did not get around. Okay, get around is crazy. I didn't feel like it, so I didn't do it. I did not amend these bags yet. But when it is time for us to plant these bags with peppers, we'll pull out any roots that's left and amend these bags. These right here, as well as those over there. And then over here, we still have our snapdragons, our dahlias, ranunculus, sedum. Not doing too much. Do you remember the one that I broke? That's it. Look how much that grew. We could barely see that over the soil. That's how much it grew. That's exciting. We have our canna lily that we wish would go, but I'm just leaving it. That is a whole weed. And it seems like our echinacea is struggling to come back this year, but it is popping up. So I'm guessing it's gonna come back eventually. So this is supposed to be an echinacea. More snapdragons, more dahlias from last year. This is a native plant. I just don't remember what it is. This is a hollyhock. Someone was asking me, how do I keep the rust off? I don't. This plant already has rust. It's inevitable for these hollyhocks for whatever reason, but I just still let them grow. And some more dahlias back here, some snapdragons, and another sedum. The flower bed is not getting much love this year, y'all. Like, I don't know. I'm just gonna let it do what it do. That flower bed is over top of rocks, and that's why. And I won't say that it doesn't produce well, because it does produce well. However, it doesn't do what I want it to do. But the year that I put all snapdragons in there, it was beautiful. Maybe that's what I'll do next year. I don't know. Anywho, that's the garden tour, y'all. Basically almost mid-April, and I am excited. I'm excited for this garden season. Tell me how your garden's doing. I would be interested to know and interested to talk about it. But I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to visit me over on Instagram, where I post about the things going on in my garden almost every day. Bye, y'all.